visually around a table rather than on a Zoom call where the darkness is slowly enveloping me. But I'll attempt to switch a light on, actually. There you go, I'm now orange. So mapping, what does that mean? So if you visit a museum, you can go in through a door and you have a choice of rooms to visit. And you are guided around that museum via some wayfaring and such like. But what could that become in a virtual space? At the moment, very few museums have even begun to look at what that could be. So what would it be like if you were a tree visiting a museum? What would it be like if you were a fox? If you were anything? You know, what would it be if you wanted to visit the museum but get totally lost? So you didn't want any wayfaring. So what if you visited a museum and you wanted everything to be the wrong way round? So, you know, part of this mapping is taking what we currently have. So this is kind of what we have now as a kind of ground zero, if you like, of what this museum can be, and building upwards from that point. So we have the basic architecture, which is very basic and can be changed by people given access to their various rooms and via the rooms. So, but what we're gonna look at is how you reach those rooms, how we can expand on what is within those rooms and give people the tools to expand within those rooms. And also, you know, what crazy sort of conceptual mess we can create out of what's currently there. So it's imagining what a museum of care perhaps might actually look and feel like. And given that it needs to appeal to everybody, but in lots of different ways. So this will sort of be across the table meeting, hopefully in a sort of nice location in London somewhere. And then we'll come back and sort of give the findings to the larger group for them to sort of comment on, expand upon, think about in terms of their own rooms, what it might mean. And then we'll also begin to try and find funding to actually make these things happen. So that if your room is at the moment looking a bit bare, then maybe a year from now, it'll be a lot less bare. And I'll pass over to John.
Super, thanks. And I tell you what, seeing Charlie and Clive twice in a day, I mean, that's just the dream, isn't it? I just feel so lucky.
No one should have to do that.
I'm going to show you two things quite quickly. I've just put a PDF in the chat. I commissioned a bit of research from a former student, wanted her to join tonight, but unfortunately the meeting was a bit late for her. She's fasting as well, so she's got kind of family stuff to do tonight. I'm going to share my screen briefly just so that you can, I think the host needs to enable screen sharing.
Yeah, Nika, I think you're host, are you? Yeah. Or Ben, if one of you could.
I mean, I doubt that I'm the host.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
Done. Is that visible? IRL to URL?
Yep.
Okay, super. I'm not going to go through every single page in enormous detail because I've put it in the chat and everyone can look at it. Full credit to Rizan here. She did this, not me. I'm simply presenting it in her absence. So credit where credit's due. And she has just found out about some really, really interesting projects that are some of them obviously big museums. Here's the British Museum. Some things, very small outfits. This is Unreal City. It's a public AR festival. Again, MoMA, obviously that's a very big outfit, but this is an artist making digital tracing available during lockdown. I wanted to pick up on Rijksmuseum was one of the leading museums in lockdown to bring their collections online. Obviously, that's quite formal, and they've modelled a digital representation of their actual spaces. Other things tend to be a little bit more abstract in nature. this is an individual artist launching a thing called the Shelter in Place Gallery, a kind of miniature display room. Is quite beautiful, I think, that allows other artists to create small scale works that kind of increase in scale when you start to share them or look at them in detail. Somerset House, these are kind of event-based type of things. The Getty Centre did a piece of generative art in Animal Crossing. Kind of interesting again. This is a library, so taking an archive approach. Again, I don't, I might kind of leave this there, if you see what I mean, so that perhaps the people on the call could go through it for themselves. Museums have been very, very busy in this period, and in some cases have responded really quickly. This is Mindcraft, quite fun, that allows, it's much more than display. This is where it gets interesting for me, is where people have created tools or platforms so that other people can do creative and interesting things. So you get a much less passive experience. So you're not just passively looking at something, but there are also tools that enable participation and authorship. And she's got a kind of brief summary of findings down here. So I'm going to stop that share, and I want to show you something else that one of the students. So my name's John, by the way. I should have said that at the beginning. I'm a course leader for a master's degree in UAL, Masters in User Experience Design. Our main aim is to educate successive generations of sleeper cell agents who can fan out into the design industry and revolutionize it from within. And to that end, there's a lovely project here by one of our students, Jin Song. He's from Hong Kong. Again, I'm going to share my screen quickly, and I'll just scroll through this maybe. It's in partnership with the V&A, and they came to us with a slightly uninspiring brief. How do we get our collections online type of stuff? And what I find interesting about this is a few things. Firstly, the group is completely Chinese. And so they started looking at the V&A and thinking, okay, well, where's all the Chinese stuff? For sure, you must have stolen lots of it from us. Let's try and find it. And so they made these rooms all in Mozilla Hubs, all in about 3 weeks, this entire project. So they modeled all these rooms from beginning to end, all themselves. And then they started implementing ways that you could interact with objects that are shown on the screen. So using this vase here as a target image, then using your phone, you can start to bring that target image into your own space. And then they did some really clever things with highlighting the items using a torch pointing at your screen. Again, the reason I'll ask Jin Song if he's willing to make this available to everyone, and then I can share it with you all. What I think is really clever about it is, one, conceptual, that look at a physical collection that is represented online and a critical view of these objects, where they come from and what they mean. Secondly, I think what's clever about it is that they built in interactions that are not on the screen. So you're not just clicking around with your mouse in a digital space. You're perhaps shining a torch at something that's light reactive, so the cameras react to light. Here's my UV torch. It blows out the sensor pretty quickly. It's just a simple ultraviolet torch. I've been playing around with that quite a bit. I guess this is by way of perhaps expanding the idea of what we think is possible. So it's not just making some digital rooms and enabling us to go around them. It's this idea that we can build instruments that other people can use, and we can start to hack and punk some of the technology so that it does weird and unusual things. That's all from me.
Thanks, John. That's amazing. I'm particularly jealous of your UV torch, which made your kind of screen just kind of disappear. And yeah, oh, look at that.
It's what bank robbers point at CCTV cameras.
Oh, is it, John? And thanks, Clive, for that introduction to the mapping project. So I'm hearing that there's going to be lots of amazing stuff happening in the next What is it, Clive? Is it, when's the project? When are we thinking, in June or something, that there'll be some kind of findings to discuss?
Yeah, sometime in June.
Brilliant. Okay, so next thing on our agenda, we're making really good time. We are rattling through this. I don't know whether people have contributions to make, so please do let me know if I should be handing things over to other people. But the next on our agenda is Simona, and to talk about Discord.
Yes, may I share the screen, please?
You're the co-host now, Simona.
Okay, thank you. I did something much less fascinating than Clive. I'm embarrassed, but my goal was much more practical, so to say. I would like to comment on what Clive and John Fass said before. Your proposal looks like a bit static to me. I can't understand how my goal is that we will have many rooms that are open and where people can jump in and get out whenever they want. And to this effect, people need to know which are the rooms and what's going on there, and who's doing that. So maybe I didn't understand very well, but these images of the museums were a bit static. They were for showing objects and not living things like our rooms. So what I did was more fascinating PowerPoint. Sorry, sorry. I know how you people hate PowerPoints, but this is the best I can do. I took screenshots of our current Discord channel, and I made proposals on what we should have, in my opinion, instead of it. Because I think Discord could be a powerful tool for us, just to let people jump in and know what's happening in different rooms. And I think Museum of Care projects could be our rooms, so my proposal is on how to structure the Discord channel. The welcome, the point where we land when we get in Discord should have a short explanation of a welcome pop-up. What is this server? What are we doing there? And how to use the channel. In Museum of Care projects, we should have current projects, stuff that people are actually doing in this moment. And we should also have a place where we suggest new rooms or new projects. And in my opinion, this should be just one more channel in the server in the area of the Museum of Care projects. Then I think we need a place where we put proposals in the between of in-person assemblies or Zoom assemblies, and And that's all. And we can also play with roles. Roles in Discord allow you to decide whether you want to be in a project and be and get informations on what's going on there, or you don't care for this specific project, so you don't get alerts and you are not in this loop. Well, that's all for my short presentation. I tried to, sorry, no, it's too complicated. I can't get out of the screen sharing. I got lost.
Oh, there's no. Oh, there we go. Brilliant.
Okay. Well, that's all for Discord. On a general note, I just would like to have the less structure possible, but enough to have a place where we share ideas and decide what shall we discuss in the next assembly and what shall we discuss in the next reading group. This can easily just be a Google Doc, like for the programming of reading groups, but we need a moment where we decide, okay, on July the 1st, we'll discuss on Kings or on whatever. And in this way, I think we could even don't need curators, or at least the curators should be those who are responsible for keeping, for letting it work, but not more, nothing more. Oh, so that's all for the moment. Maybe I'll have better ideas later. Thank you.
Thanks, Moda. That's totally, that looks seem really clear to me as someone who hasn't been brave enough to venture into Discord, being slightly frightened of what I might find there. That was really good. People are asking for the PDF, which I've down to this is back to John's thing, so I will post that in a second once I've worked out where I've saved it. But the next agenda point is the Nika, you have a point?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on very briefly on what Simona said about curators. Yeah. I think it's very important to have curators because the place should have new projects coming. And it's not only about keeping the things as they are, but it is about bringing new stuff and, just rearranging things. And Discord or website, I think Clive may, it would not be so difficult to put also the calendar in the website, and probably it can actually even communicate with Discord. So whoever put on whichever end would be displayed on above medias. What do you think, Clive? I think it's possible to do a calendar.
You're muted.
Sorry, I just lost myself amongst all the people. There's APIs in Discord, so potentially you can link to WordPress and things like that. So I'm not a programmer, so I'm very I get told off by programmers for promising to do things that can't be done. But my understanding is Discord, you could potentially link Discord to a room in the website, offer the opportunity for people to be invited to groups within Discord via the Museum of Care website. and that would link people through. That would send an email to the administrator of the Discord room, and the person would then be aware of the person wanting to enter that Discord discussion effectively. So answer in long is
Brilliant, thanks, Clive. Dennis, have your hand up?
It's more a clarification question than anything else, because I'm not really that involved in the museum anymore. But in the beginning, there was this idea that the museum would be, it was, I think, advertised as a global network of residencies, and then that sort of morphed into an attempt to connect people's projects with physical space. Now, like, I mean, I haven't been that involved. I have been reading the emails, but I understand projects change. Is that totally off now? Because all I hear about is that, like, Discord and like pictures of digital museums. Is there still this sort of like attempt to connect spaces with people's ideas, or is that that's not there anymore? Which is fine, you know. I'm just asking for clarification.
Nick.
So for my site, and originally it was my proposal because of the David's house. So I think the David's house, or whichever other residency I would have, would only be available in the next summer because of COVID, and David House was attacked. So that's one thing. So probably we can just keep talking about this and see how it goes. And during the discussion, I think the term rooms was proposed because it was not possible to travel. And so it was an idea to replace the offline with online. And then, yeah, so longer in the line, we can see how it goes. That's my current understanding.
But there were other spaces than just David's house, right? And there were the rooms proposals. And again, if this changes, that's fine. But the room proposals were like pickling rooms and stuff like that. They were not digital rooms. Maybe some of them were, but most of them I think were not. But if this is an idea that has morphed over time and evolved and become something else, of course that's understandable. I'm just curious about it.
For now, nobody can travel really.
That's true.
Yeah, and so these people who propose something, they propose kind of in exchange. They wrote to me because I proposed David's house, and that whole situation that was half a year ago for now frozen. Let's say, put it this way. And I suggest we wait another half a year, and then we'll see how it goes. That's my current understanding.
Okay.
May I? Sorry. May I add something?
Sure.
I made an attempt. I tried to make a Discord channel, Discord server, just as an experiment to do what I proposed to make for our Discord. As for the calendar, it is easy to put a calendar on a website. The problem is what you put inside and how you decide what's gonna go on this calendar and who puts it. It's just not a big deal to write stuff on the calendar, but you need people to decide what to put there and when. I think just now the museum has become more, the rooms are more of projects than physical rooms. And this is very okay for me. I think that if we just had a calendar where I can see that on Monday, the group that is dealing with Samir Vive is meeting, I could join this group, and this is simply my proposal. So may I share the screen another time just to show you my proposal for Discord? Then I'll be quiet, I swear.
Yeah.
Only I'm not able to.
Yeah, you're still co-host, Simona, so you should be able to.
Okay. it's not working.
There you
Okay.
go.
So just welcome is for welcoming people. So it's a place where you tell what is it about, and where people can say, hey, I'm XY. Chit chat is just for chatting with no aim, no goals. Then assembly, agenda proposals, and discussions started in assemblies that keep going on. And then reading group program, a place where we put the stuff we are reading in the reading group, a place where to keep discussing what we have read, and book tips on things related, but not actually that we are not actually reading. And then projects. This is the projects we had ongoing when I made these proposals. That's all for true now. I'll be quiet for a while. And okay.
Thanks, Simona.
That's it.
That was great. Not seeing any comments on that. Take that as a resounding set of approvals for. Oh, Enka.
Yeah, I had a question about the deciding the agenda for assemblies. So how do you see that happening in case, so if we have a curator, would they be in charge with handling that channel to make sure that before each assembly we have an agenda, that everyone, making sure everyone has contributed? I guess this is an open question to everyone. How are we deciding the agenda? How it's been done so far, or how are we thinking?
We didn't have almost assembly. We have reading groups, but I think I would suggest curators will decide and propose, because it's for the short time, So if somebody would be like really lazy or really crazy, then so you still have your own project and you run it. That's basically, for me, it's both sides of being open. You have new people, you can totally reinvent yourself and get access to the new places, but you can sometimes get unpleasant situations. And I see that in Museum of Care very much, but I think I would propose to accept it. Unless the other one is just create a small family where everybody trusts each other. There is no bad situation could happen, nobody in charge, everybody together, and that's an affinity group. Then we're too big.
Yash? Did you have your hand up, Yash?
Yeah, no, I just had a quick one. I think it's like Simona for you, maybe, and as well like Charlie and Clive. So Mariana and I were working on this calendar for Museum of Care like back in Feb. So it's mostly updated with like all the events that we did up to, I think, like early Feb. And like, so I can like, we can like just pass that on to you guys as well if you're like, just it gives you like a head start, for like adding the future events. So happy to share that if that helps.
Brilliant, thanks, Yash. Okay, we good to move on. We've got it's 20 to 9 UK time. Next agenda is Vasily and Nika, who are going to talk about past reading groups and also a library of care. So I don't know who wants to go first.
I think Vasily should just handle that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So hey, I'm Vasily. I'm just going to share the link to the program of the reading group, and it would be also good to share the link of the library for those who don't have it. So I'll be very quick. Just a few words to say that so we've been talking, we are talking about a project or a room, if you want, that has been running almost from the beginning now, and well, it has been something, you know, it was something very immediate and very easy to organize. So that's you know, one thing that we could do, and we will continue to do so. You know, David wrote quite a lot, and in fact, I'm sure this can keep going for quite a while, for a few more years, which is great. And as Nika was saying, we've been experimenting, inviting people to propose text and to facilitate session. So I just want to renew the invitation. This is still in order. So if you're interested in facilitating a session, you can just get in touch with us through the Google Doc that I've just shared, or via mailing list. There is one for the reading group. About the next reading group, so it's the next reading group is going to be facilitated by Simona, and it will be by Carnival. So it's in a week, same time, and then we will be discussing the monastic self with DJ, I think, and the army of altruists. We still have 2 dates in June, so perhaps if you want to, if you have a text in mind, yeah. And of course, we're going to take a summer break at some point. So I think, you know, June we can still have 2, and then have a break. I think it would, and I'll let you talk, Nika. I think it would be good to organize a reading group on Marshall Salins following his passing. I think that would be really good. David wrote a book with him about kings, so maybe we can discuss that, but it can be something else. So if there is a specialist on Salins work, please get in touch so we can arrange something. Nika, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think it was the very important reading group with Alexei Yurchak that set on the 13th of May. And then it was Nicholas Haggerty who supposed to read Army of Altruists, you remember? And then I don't know, so let me see, it's like I think it's a little kind of, we're very disorganized still. I just like listing up proposals, and we have like many proposals, but this one is really, I think it's a good one. So David wrote a book about pirates, and I was in touch with people who was writing books about pirates, and one of them is A Devil's Anarchy with Steven Snyders, and he's really a very cool guy, and book are very popular. So yeah, and Alexei Yurchak is a legend. He was scheduled like many months ago on the 13th of May. Although I would suggest we do it not every week, but do it every 2 weeks. Because for me, even now, it's very difficult to follow up every week. It's like such a big commitment. I don't know what other people think about that. And I think we can just decide in a reading group, because most of the people in Assemblies, or some of the people is not for the reading group, coming for the reading group. And about Simona's, I also wanted to say about reading group that, as Vasily said, I think like this reading group is a very specific project, only one room. And for example, people were telling me like, they don't want to read David, so that's totally fine. They don't need to read David, and you don't need to have money or funding to organize a reading group, you know. So if anybody wants to read anything, we can just, and in a different schedule or in this calendar, it definitely could be many reading groups available for if people want to go there. That is, yeah, possible, probably.
Nika, like one question I had was for say new reading groups, would it just be like creating like a new room in the Museum of Care, or would it still like, should we still go through like you and Vasily for like additional reading groups, you know?
didn't understand the question again.
Like, you know, like, so basically, like, recently on the Discord, like, I was chatting with Rob, for example, and a couple of us, we were thinking of doing like a additional reading group on Friday. And then, so you're thinking of like, if we make that as like a part of like the existing reading group, or just create a new room, like a new Discord channel for that, like how what might be the best way to go about it, you know?
I don't know really, so I don't have like a set agenda. But what I think, like, if you try to make decision in one group and you have misunderstanding, then it could be a problem. And it's, if you already have an agenda, you just want to create something new, I think I would just do something new.
Got it.
I
No,
don't
sounds
know.
great. Sounds great.
I suppose we could create another room for that, but the question might be also, do we use the communication devices we have, like the Facebook group, to advertise other like the activities of other rooms?
Got it. No worries, Vasily. Like, okay, I think in that case, I think it might just be simpler to go, like, work with the existing the groups. I can drop you an email if that's simpler.
Brilliant. In the chat, Ellen has offered help on Marshall Salins. Thanks, Ellen. So perhaps you can liaise on that front. Right, that's reading group. Now we're going to move on to a review of where we are with some of the rooms and the projects. So visual assemblies, fighting club, how to make decisions. So who wants to is it I'm not sure who's going to pick up on the visual assemblies first, but so Nika, over to you maybe.
Maybe Elizaveta, because I need to ask Oleg to come back, because he didn't speak English and he just dropped out while we were talking. He will come back when it will be his turn.
Well, can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, IAFS, the Free School, has been hosting a weekly visual assembly lab, and we have a couple more class meetings left, and we'll have, I'm hoping, kind of a contributions for a lexicon of symbols for stenciling. And then another thing that has come out of our lab is we got very interested in the public performance part of visual assembly for the artists who are drawing in public space. And so I think we'll have kind of like some stock characters for artists who are drawing in public space, some tips for costume making, and kind of a facilitation process. Like what we've discovered with visual assembly is, you know, you sort of have to do this. There's a group dynamic where the facilitator in the Zoom is, you know, trying to get the group to pool their collective intelligence, right, around a vision, around an idea. And so there's maybe a theatrical component for the artists who are in public space to help facilitate that for the facilitator who's in the Zoom. So those are the pieces that we're working on in the next couple of weeks. And then we're hopefully going to get some good practice in over the summer, so that Nika, am I correct? Is the date for the Madrid Visual Assembly still October 11th?
No, because Oleg is coming now. I'm just translating him into Russian, what you're saying. But the last things we heard is that is from 6 to 19 of September, they for sure will be in Madrid, but there is different groups coming. So they're not one solid, only one group, basically. So that's what I understand. But this question should be asked for Oleg. He's now already here. I will just translate him.
Okay, so September 6th to the 19th is Madrid. I just want to make sure I'm...
Тебя должно быть слышно. Давай еще раз входить тогда. Okay. I'm sorry, just difficult to hear him talking. Yeah, sorry. I didn't hear the last question.
I just wanted to make sure that I have the correct dates for Madrid is September 6th to the 19th.
Yes, and
Okay.
yeah, but we don't know like for sure because everything is constantly changing because yeah, we'll ask this question Oleg. I think he's here. Oleg, ты здесь?
Я здесь, я всех приветствую из Сантьяго де Чили.
Hello from Santiago de Chile.
И я хочу в двух словах сказать об идее визуальной ассамблеи в свете, в контексте приезда сапатистской делегации в Европу через несколько месяцев.
He said he would like to quickly tell about Visual Assembly in the context of Zapatistas coming to Madrid in a couple of months.
С конца ноября начнут прибывать разные группы из Мексики. Это будут невооруженные сапатисты, естественно, а люди, которые участвуют в строительстве нового мира на территории под контролем сапатистских общин.
Ты сказал ноябрь, наверное, июнь, может?
Нет, с июня, да, с июня. Я с июня.
Yeah. So since June, this group of Zapatistas will come to Europe and this will be not a fight militants, but it will be people who is building peaceful life in the territory that is Zapatistas territory.
И идея в том, чтобы в эти даты, в этот период подумать о том, как мы можем встретить все антисистемные гуманистические силы, движения, организации и так далее, для того, чтобы вступить в непосредственный, самый близкий в истории контакт.
So it will be a network of organization, and we should widen this as much as possible, so we can organize as close contact and relationship with them as possible.
Как это назвали сапатисты, одной из метафор, мы хотим, наша миссия быть семенем в поисках других семян.
So how Zapatistas was saying, oh my God, it's probably very difficult for me to translate to be poetic. So we want to be the seeds for the other seeds to come.
Поэтому мы думали провести серию визуальных ассамблей с участием людей из разных точек, потому что кроме сапатистской борьбы есть борьба курдов в Рожаве, есть очень многие другие автономные, независимые от политических партий и экономических групп движения. И благодаря самому формату визуальности ассамблеи мы бы могли провести одновременно в разных местах встречу этих людей вокруг уже конкретного события.
So the idea is to try to involve other groups who is also living in a similar situation, like Rojava people and so on, and create it in the same time. And so use the technology or specific of Visual Assembly to connect it around one event.
Одновременно с идеей создания альтернативного музея, то есть антимузея, на площадях при помощи минимума элементов для того, чтобы сегодняшние люди, наши обычные граждане, которые окажутся там, участвовали в рисовании, в создании этого образа будущего, то есть то, чего нам сегодня так не хватает, и то, что необходимо для изменения этого кошмара, в котором мы все оказались.
So and then just involve the people on the normal people, citizens of different places who will kind of draw this future museum or anti-museum and reflect on the situations that we are living now and try to invent some other world, imagine some other world.
И самое интересное в этом процессе будет упражнение именно в коллективном творчестве, в изменении роли художника, в изменении роли артиста, в изменении роли гражданина, где коллективное, где общественное должно сменить типичный индивидуалистский взгляд, культивируемой декаденствующей системой.
And so we want to emphasize the change in role of the artists, in which artists will become a facilitator and will get out of the role of like individualistic creator who is, yeah.
Поэтому очень хотелось бы пригласить всех к участию в этом проекте. Мы только в начале пути, и я думаю, что осталось не так много времени, и нам необходимы творческие идеи, участие для того, чтобы этот был проект не Ники с кем-то или наш Ника и так далее, для того, чтобы это был проект действительно всех.
So, and Alek is saying, like, everybody who has, who wants, please join us, because we really wanted to create, like, it's as wide as possible and invite everybody. So it's not an individualistic project, it's not our projects, it's a project for everybody. And, Олег, и там у тебя был вопрос конкретный по поводу того, когда именно сапатисты приезжают. Вот нам тогда сказали в Табакера 6-19 сентября, я повторила, но я не знаю, как бы ты...
Нет, реально сапатисты, первые 5 сапатистов на кораблике отправляются из Мексики на каравелле, как Колумба, только наоборот, в противоположном направлении, в первых числах мая, и учитывая ветра, потоки, течение и так далее, к концу июня должна быть первая группа сапатистов в Европе. В июле будут прибывать, видимо, по воздуху еще.
So he's saying that,
Июнь-июль.
yeah. So he's saying that in May, the first caravella, the same ship as was Columb using, but going to the different direction, is coming with 5 people, and so it looks like according to the, depending on the wind and so on, it will take them until end of June to come. But in the same time, people will come by plane, and will be more people coming.
Но все это не
yeah.
окончательно, да.
Yeah, but it's all not for sure. If somebody wants to ask questions, but I translated to Oleg what amazing things you were doing, and I don't know, maybe we should just start to talk to each other and kind of try to develop something in common for that. Yeah, Elizabeth. But if somebody wants to ask something to Oleg, I can.
Dennis?
Yeah, like I don't really understand the connection of Visual Assembly and Zapatistas. I know Zapatistas are coming with 7 people in the boat in June, and you could send proposals to them, and they come here to talk about their experience. Not so much to join in someone's art project, I think, but I mean, you could invite them. But did you invite them, or what's the connection? Like, I don't understand.
So he's Денис is saying, Денис спрашивает, а какая, собственно, связь между сапатистами визуальной ассамблеи? Ну, я знаю, что приезжает 7 человек, можно им послать какое-то предложение, что-то там такое сделать, и почему это вдруг они с каким-то арт-проектом решили связаться?
Я думаю, что в основной сапатистской делегации будут артисты, будут художники сапатистских территорий. И я думаю, что артистические художественные проекты Европы и мира будет очень интересно и очень важно встретить с этими группами, с этими представителями сапатистов, которые будут там, потому что мы вместе ищем новой модели творчества, новой роли артиста в этом меняющемся мире. Я думаю, что это один из ключевых моментов, потому что сапатисты говорят, что артисты очень важны, они должны придумать миры, которых до сих пор не существует. Нам надо придумать мир, у нас пока нет модели.
So Oleg was saying that, and I read this text that he translated into Russian about that. So Oleg is saying that for Zapatistas, art is one of the most important things, and during, not in the 7th group, the first group, 5 people, but then later it will be more Zapatistas coming, including the Zapatistas artist who's working in the Zapatistas territory, and that the connection between European artists and citizens and the Zapatistas artists will be crucial, because Zapatistas was saying...
Yeah, I understand that. But my question is a bit different, though. Oleg, ¿puedo hablarte en español?
Sí, perfecto. Mucho mejor.
Entonces, lo que no entiendo es si invitaste a las Zapatistas a participar en la asamblea virtual o no.
Porque eso
no
es la
no
pregunta
los
aquí, ¿no?
invité, les mandé un poquito de información de eso, pero lo que pasa es que les llegan tantas invitaciones ahora que deben estar locos con tantas cosas. Yo creo que tenemos que hacer esto de la forma independiente y estando ellos en Europa, invitamos a nuestras actividades.
Bueno, cuando ya estén en Europa, dices.
Claro, claro, porque todo está improvisando, porque es muy difícil ahora predecir qué exactamente pasará, en qué momento, en qué fecha.
Bueno, lo están planeando, ¿no? Van a venir aquí también, pero...
Sí, sí, yo creo que tenemos que preparar nuestra parte y no preocuparnos de ellos
Claro.
ahora.
Ok,
Y
ok,
estando
entiendo.
ellos en Europa. Угу.
Ok.
Ника, я тебе потом переведу. Я просто объяснил
Я
детали
думаю,
о
что
том,
мы
что мы
должны
это
сейчас
не...
закончить уже, да.
Да,
So,
я
yeah,
тогда...
so,
Мгм.
yeah. No, and
Sorry.
and also I just want to say to Denis that we're in touch with the people who is in Madrid preparing this cultural program for inviting Zapatistas.
Irretiemble, you mean?
What?
Irretiemble, the group.
No,
Then who?
I don't know. Tabaquiera?
Well, maybe it's not so important. Maybe this is a bit outside of
No,
these
I
times.
said
I was just wondering.
tabaquiera. Yeah, it looks like you kind of competitive questions, you know.
No, it's not. It's not. No, I'm just wondering. I don't understand how this is. But okay, yeah, all right, fine.
Yeah, I said tabaquiera. So it's a group that's connected to Reina Sofia Museum, and yeah. But everybody welcome to join. So there is no in a visual account. It will also be exhibition. That's not everybody welcome to join in the museum, but a visual assembly is a place where everybody can join. There is no budget and all open space and so on and so forth. Yeah, is it any other questions to Oleg?
We've got a couple of. Oh, sorry, Anka. If you want to go, but also a couple of people are asking. Maybe Dennis could translate what Oleg was saying in Spanish.
Yeah, no, like my question was really because the Zapatistas they are coming here and they ask people for ideas and invitations, etc. So when you bring up visual assembly, I was wondering if that was extended out as an invitation to the Zapatistas as a thing, but it turns out that's not the case. So the way I understand it right now is just an idea, but that's also fine, you know. I was just wondering if there was already this process in motion because they're leaving soon and they're planning the whole gira, they're planning where to go, they're planning to which places to visit, etc., etc., etc. So I was wondering if you bring up visual assembly and Zapatistas, if they were actually going to participate in a visual assembly, but it seems unlikely if there's no invitation.
It's just Denis. Okay.
Or am I wrong? I mean,
no. So okay, so we are working with Tabaquiera, who is organizing Zapatistas visit in Madrid and then in Europe, so on. And so we will be part of their artistic events. They will have many of them. One is a visual assembly and another cinema assembly and some others. So I just just kind of.
So Zapatistas will be part of that. They just don't know it yet.
Yes, we hope so. Yes, we hope so.
They don't know it yet, but they will be. Okay.
I think what Oleg said was that they send the invitation, but they are receiving a lot of invitations now, so they are very busy. So we should just do our part, and then it's like kind of they are still part, but because they are very busy, we just do our part. That's what I think he said.
That's not really how it works. I think the process, I sent an invitation and they write me back and they said, yeah, we'll come. And there's a process there.
I don't know. Sorry.
Okay. Anka, did you had a question?
Yeah, I was wondering. So, is this a proposal that we are discussing now for a project, or a visual assembly project that anyone can participate? And if so, how do we start from? I think I'm more interested in the practicalities of it, because Oleg said, yeah, this is something for us to start working on before they arrive. And what does that mean? Are we gonna talk on Discord about it? Or how do we participate?
Good question. So we can, yeah, so maybe we should, Elizabeth?
I mean, sure. So the way that I find it most helpful to think of visual assembly is it's like a very powerful pencil, right? It's a combination of human and technological elements for the purposes of drawing, right? And it's a multi-author drawing. Like you're going to have a group of people directing these artists in public space to create a vision for something. And you know, what we've been doing in our lab is just sort of experimenting with the tools and preparing kind of different pieces that different groups can use to put together to create their own particular pencil for their own particular forms of visual assembly. And I think really as a technique, what it would benefit from is people who are interested in practicing, because it has a lot of strange parts. Even for us, we've been quite committed to practicing, but because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to practice the part where we go outside and draw. So that's a piece that's coming. So in terms of, you know, the timing things for the delegation from Chiapas, I think I'm excited to just continue to develop the tools so that that they are sort of somewhat developed by the time that event occurs. But it's a set of tools that can be developed, you know, forever.
And yeah, so about participation, so I think I will just be in Madrid on that time, and everybody who can come, I just invite them to join us, like in the physical space. We don't need a permission. Again, we don't need a budget, just need to be happens to be in Madrid, and it will be like serious events, and we can participate in other events too, not only on visual assembly. But we don't know yet how to deal with Zoom, how to invite people from the different part of the world. Like we want to include Rojava people, and we're talking about that with Tabaquera, the people in Madrid who's organizing that. And we don't have an answers yet. Maybe Discord is a good idea to talk about this. Maybe we should have a separate Zoom chat with everybody who is interested to be part of this discussion. So that's my suggestion.
Cool. And then we have,
I?
yeah, Simona.
Yeah, we as DN25 sent an offer of cooperation to the Zapatistas, and they answered with a long and detailed list of requests, and we are organizing on how to answer some of those requests that are very complicated, even for us that are supposed to be a big organization. We are not, by the way. And a comrade that was in some museum meeting, Jose, I don't know if you do remember him. He's also in Samir Vive project, I think, sent us a description of what they are doing in ESL and network in Germany. And so we have some connections for Germany, Spain, Italy, and we are starting to work on these proposals. And the idea, as far as I understand what they wrote us, is we are there also to connect activists in all Europe, no matter which organization or if they belong to an organization. So I think visual assembly can be an important part of this travel, and just a way to connect ideas and activists, but a part, just as a DM part is just a part. I'm very interested in this idea that every group is one part of the whole project, and how can we cooperate in it. I had something else to say, but I forgot, so I'll tell you later. That's all.
Thank you, Simona. Cool. So
oh yes, sorry. If I can add another project, I'm part of a campaign on the right to housing that is called Rentvolution, and we are planning for the autumn some symbolic squatting, not real squatting for long term, but maybe 24 hours. That is not enough for police to get in and chase people, and we would like to have visual assemblies in these symbolic squatting events.
Thanks, Simona. The next piece on the rooms agenda, if we're done with visual assemblies, is fighting clubs. I don't know whether that's TJ or Nika. Is that you talking about that, Nika?
TJ, do you want to talk about fighting club?
Yes, but are we done with visual assemblies?
Oh, well, that was a question. I don't know whether we are. I'm also conscious that we've already run 15 minutes over our hour, so we can. I mean, I'm good for a bit longer if people are, but we probably should try and wrap up in the next 15 minutes maybe. And also, Andres, you've posted in the chat as well. That looks amazing. I guess that's something that needs to be scheduled for another assembly. Absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, I will leave today, and then maybe next time I can present it. Okay, and thank you for.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
It was very interesting to participate. Thank you. Bye bye.
So, Fighting Club.
Okay. Yeah. So, TJ, do you want to present or do you want to present?
Oh, that would be kind of you presented. I'm packing up right now because I'm about to leave. So please feel free.
So Fighting Club was basically was born from this Discord in Museum of Care, and now it's developing into the historical fights and the real people fights that will be more like a theatrical events. And the idea originally come from Steve Butler, and maybe he can and then now like people started to build on that idea. Like Steve Keen just wrote a dialogue between David Graeber and Adam Smith and some other characters, and Michael Hart, that he's going to include like some characters from ancient Babylon and so on and so forth. And yeah, that was very productive brainstorming with you, Steve. Yes, so Steve originally come up with the idea, David, against, yeah, you should say.
Brilliant. Thanks, Nika.
Yeah, and yeah, so we will have like we have a date now, 23rd of July. It's in London theatre called Church of Burning Money. And hopefully maybe Charlie will also be a real offline fighter there with a Brixton Pound or something like that. And I'm just yeah, because I will be probably already in New York. But yeah, so we just started to produce this, hoping to produce these productions and collaborate with the people from Berlin who's doing also like 3D stuff.
Cool. Yeah, the Burning Money Festival looks like it's going to be quite something. Yeah. Next, we're almost out of time, but how to make decisions.
Yeah, I will just very quickly talk about this.
Yeah, thanks, Anka.
So I'm posting here the link on the website with the interviews that we've done so far. We are at the point where we stopped interviewing people, but that's because we stopped. So it's, you know, this was always an invitation for everyone to participate. Anyone who wants to interview people about the topic, they're more than welcome to do so. And we are just deciding what we want to do with the interviews, whether they're going to be part of a documentary or what form it's going to take. For me, it's more my part. I feel like I'm done with it in the sense that I documented this and it's there. I believe Nika at the moment is working with Matt on an anthology, transcribing the interviews and thinking about how it's going to look, whether they're going to be published. Simona had an idea of continuing interviewing people about the health, how to take decisions is that right, Simona? So I don't know when that's going to happen, but we will be able to let you know probably individually. So whoever schedules interviews, we will put it on a calendar, possibly also on Discord. And I'm very curious how this room is going to work, depending on who's going to curate the museum, how we're going to, you know, use what we've learned, the tools about decision making, and what kind of communication between rooms, what's going to happen with, depending on who's curating and what's decided in the agenda. So that's my.
Thanks, Anka. Any questions about that or any contributions? No, I don't know about anybody else, but because I've sort of have been around and then not, and then, you know, so you flit in and out. It's just amazing to see all the things that have happened and how it's all managed somehow with no rules, no organization, no kind of willingness to kind of, you know, sort of be coordinated. It's all happening, and it's wonderful, and it's confusing as hell sometimes, but it's really beautiful when it is for me. I get confused, but it's absolutely amazing to see it all come together. I love it so much. The last point on the agenda. We've got 10 minutes till 9:30. We could pack up and go and do some housework or whatever we need to do, or we could have 10 minutes just with if there are any other suggestions for new projects or anything that anybody would like to talk about. If anybody has, Nika.
I would just suggest we put another assembly in a month from now at the end of May, in which we can decide about specifically only about how to curate, if we should curate, what is the rules, how the curators will transfer to each other the powers of curating when they leave. And also everybody can propose their own ideas about the curatorial team, so curators. And I have plenty to propose to, and maybe we can just have this at the end of May. This assembly.
That sounds totally sensible to my ears. I'm going to try and read the room. People think that's a good idea. Yeah. Right. So Simona's saying May 20th or 27th. 27th would be the last one in the month, would it? It would. So should we say 27th? Oh, so it is, isn't it? 26. So 27th is close to the sort of the end of May bank holiday. Is that what you meant, Anka? Yeah. Was that a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing. I
Bad
hope
thing.
to not be in London anymore if possible, but it's fine if we decide 20. Yeah, I'll try remotely somehow.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know how we work out whether the 20th or the 27th is better. But if you can dial in remotely, Anka, maybe we go for the 27th. Cool. All right.
And until the 27th, we'll have meetings every Thursday or every fortnight. We'll have the reading group on April 29, and then on May the 6th, we'll have another reading group, isn't it? Oh,
I suggest, yeah, I suggest we do the, like, so next Thursday is your reading group. It's it's about Bakhtin and
possibilities.
Yeah, possibilities. And then I don't know, Vasily, have you been in touch with Nicholas Haggerty? Because it was you who talked to him about this army of altruists. Because if he's if he will be willing to move his reading group, then we can have a break. And then 6th of May will be an empty day. But then 13th of May is a Yurchak, Alexei Yurchak. That's kind of many months in advance. And I suggest, it's a really brilliant person, so suggest everybody come. And then on the 20th, supposed to be the reading group with Stephen Snyder's The Devil's Anarchy, but we can move it, I think. So that would be my suggestion, but I don't know what you guys think. So if we do it every second week, we only now have 2 in a row. Or maybe even Simona, then week free, then Yurchak, then week free, and then either TJ or Stefan, whatever you guys think.
Well, if it's week free and reading group and week free, the next one is the 27 when we'll have the assembly. So
okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a question to TJ. If he feels like what he feels is better to do, we can just I would just come if he wants to do the group. Like if we keep the schedule as it is and don't change it, I would be able to come. I don't know. Let's do that. That's great.
I would like to ask the comrades from Rentvolution campaign to join us one evening and explain what is it and how it works. So if we have a slot in May, I would like to fill it with this interview. So if on the 6th we'll skip the reading group, we can have this meeting on Rentvolution, and then on the 13th have a reading group, or vice versa.
Okay, I don't know how everybody's feel about that.
So the reading group on May the 6th.
But I think we should ask a person who was proposed to have this reading group, and then maybe on the mailing list we should discuss. Vasily, are you in touch with him?
Not at all. No, I've never been in touch with Niklas. And as TJ is gone now, so maybe we can.
He's here.
Maybe we can. I'm a bit confused, to be honest, with all these dates. Maybe we can talk about that later this week and get back with a calendar that that works, maybe next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because because it's we said it was every 2 weeks, but now we have so many. But let's see. Let's talk about that later and not bore everyone in this topic.
Okay.
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 Brilliant. We've done 90 minutes. It is time to do the dishes. And for those of us on European time, it's way past our bedtime. So amazing to see you all. Apologies for being a not very good master of ceremonies. Somebody much more capable will be doing it next time, I'm sure. It's been delightful to see you all.
Thank you.
Oh, look, Steve has dirty dishes. So all around Steve's house, he needs some help, obviously. So
Bye-bye.
lovely to see you.